turns me on somehow. Ooh Lai, ooh Lai la. Ooh Lai, ooh Lai la. Ooh Lai, ooh Lai la. She turns me on somehow. Hey girl, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna take you, wanna make you understand. Hey girl, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna take you, wanna make you understand.
Hi, Andy.
Hey Warren, how you doing?
Very well, thanks, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you very much. Yeah, enjoying the sunshine.
This is unusual. We're recording this podcast less than a week before it goes up on YouTube.
That's right. Because basically we're thrilled to have a special guest today, and it's a Glitter Band member who obviously I know, but you haven't actually met yet, have you? Although you've spoken to him. But before we actually introduce our guest, you've got a short story to tell, haven't you, Warren?
I have, Andy. A few years ago, a photo of a record label appeared briefly on a Facebook site. It was one of the two clips we've just heard, Ooh Lai Ooh Lai La, the A-side of a single released under the name John Joe, otherwise known as John Springate. I'm sure that John commented at the time that he didn't think it was ever released and asked whether anyone owned the record. Unfortunately, there was no response. It's a few years later, and I'm pleased to say we have dug up a copy. Ooh Lai Ooh Lai La and its accompanying B-side Hey Girl, I Want to Hold Your Hand was only released in Australia, and it may just be the rarest Glitter Band related record. Apart from John Springate, there's another Glitter Band connection. John Rossall co-wrote the B-side. Andy, we suspect there may be other Glitter Band members playing on the record, but we don't know. In fact, we don't know much about this record at all. Is there someone who could help?
Well, we hope so.
I think I can hear him in the background.
Yeah. Hi, John. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I've got to say, this is probably going to be the most shortest interview ever because I can't remember a thing about it. I can't
No, you're
remember
kidding.
a thing about it. But go ahead, try and jog my memory if you like with some questions. But I can't remember anything about it at all, to be honest.
John, I'll have a go, okay?
Yeah,
I'm going
okay.
to congratulate you on your first single. How does that sound?
My first single?
Your first single, yes. Well, it's only taken 50 years, hasn't it?
Which one's that then? Well, this one.
This one, yeah.
This one?
It was
I don't
early
know, I don't know.
1974, John.
The funny thing about this song is I wrote it, way before the Glitter Band thing. I'd written it, and I think, if I remember rightly, there's a bit of a nick, which is to do with the tremolos, because they had a song which had a ooh lay, la la la, and I think I borrowed it from them. I don't know who wrote that song. I've forgotten what the song was called now. Ooh lay, la la la. I'm probably going to get sued now. But I'm the B side or even the A side sounds like it might have been Tony Leonard playing drums. I can generally tell the star between the Pete and Tony. And we must have done it when we were on tour in Australia. It must have been done at that time. It would have been at that time. Hence, only being released in Australia.
The only thing with that is that it was released in Australia in I'm going to go into train spotter mode, right? It was released in Australia in April 1974. Now, that was a month or two before Angel Face was released in the same country. And
right.
You were on tour with Gary in this. It was about 8 days in October in '73, and Tony joined the Glitter Band after you came back to the UK. So
right, okay.
I think it was recorded in Australia. It may not be Tony. Do you think Jerry might have played on it?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Hard to tell. It really is hard to tell because the the slide guitar thing was very, easy to do. So, you can't really tell between styles,
Yeah, I get it.
But he could have been on there. Yeah, yeah.
Would you have played on it?
Sorry?
The guitar. Would you have played guitar yourself?
Maybe. Yeah, could have. Could have. It was quite funny listening to the B-side because God knows how I got up there. I mean, vocally it's ridiculous. I think at the end of the song I probably gave up. And that's why there's just a bit of an instrumental bit going on at the end rather than me singing. Sounds like it could have been done by Susie Quattro, actually, when I think about it.
Well,
she could have got up
Sped
there.
up, varied speed, yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned Susie's vocals in one of our earlier podcasts, John. We were talking a little bit about pitch shifting, I should say, and Mike Chapman did a lot of that with Susie.
Right.
John, there's a bit of a clue. Now, John Rossell co-wrote the B-side with a bloke by the name of Michael Schilling.
Yeah.
And he'd worked with JR before that. There was a Boston single called Hey Diddle Diddle, which I think was released maybe the year before. And I'm just wondering have you got any idea what JR's involvement with the project may have been?
No, I mean Michael and I don't know Michael Schilling either. No, I think this is it. I really can't remember anything about it at all. I wish I could. It's no, can't remember anything about that side of it all. I mean, even being in the studio, I can't remember being in the studio at all with it. It's so long ago.
It's done pretty quickly, wasn't it, I suppose?
Yeah, it sounds like it was.
Clearly you had an aspiration to, diversify as either a published songwriter or create some other kind of career. Because you've already said that you at points thought about leaving the band, and Peter said the same thing. So you had a different publishing deal for your songs, which must have been started before you joined the band.
That's right.
Yeah. So you really wanted to get some stuff out there. It's just...
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were both of the same... Jerry and I were both of the same man. We were both singers, and we both wanted... I never intended to stay with the band at all. I mean, it's well documented. I always said I'll give it 3 singles and an album, but it didn't. It went on to be a whole 5 years worth, really. But at the time, before I joined the band, I was lead singing and playing. I'd given up bass and was just concentrating on the singing. But when that job came up, I knew, I could sing, I could play bass, so I thought, I'll just, go for it. But, I mean, my writing started before I joined the band with Southern Music, and then we were all sort of because we congealed into joining Ram Publishing, which was big mistake. But we won't go into that. It's all horrible stuff. We all got screwed, basically. Yeah,
Great.
we got screwed in a big way.
At the time, John, you look at RAM and that organisation, would it be fair to say your management was fairly top-heavy?
In what way, top-heavy?
There was Eddie Seago, and there was Mike Leander, and there was Ray Brown. So there were a few people involved, weren't there?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the total control over everything, really, management and production, publishing, everything, which is, and in those days, the deals were all 50-50, you might be able to squeeze a 60-40 out of a publishing company, but in those days, it was a dreadful deal structure because probably a publishing company didn't have to do anything, they didn't have to do things because the record companies did all the promotion.
Yep.
They didn't do it, So they got 50% for doing absolutely nothing. which is very annoying. I mean, I think things changed when punk came along. I think they did a lot to shake up a lot of things, and said 50-50, you're having a laugh, and you know. And I think they did a lot to change all that. But we were in a situation where at some point we were so in debt, apparently, that they asked us to, because as a singer, you also get a fee. I mean, you get various fees with the recording, which is PRS, Performing Rights Society. So if your record gets played as a singer, you get a fee for it, or as a bass player or guitarist or anything like that. And they got us to sign all our PRS, all of us, Jerry, John, everybody, to shore up the debt that we were in. So I didn't see any PRS for 5 years. None of us did. Yeah.
John, is it true that you self-funded the recording costs for Paris Match, that the band did that?
Well, we ended up in £60,000 worth of debt.
Oh, boy.
That's what they said. Okay. And what they decided to do was to play a little bit of a trick on Bell Records by discovering in the recording contract that we had that if they didn't do a statement at a certain time, we could get out of the contract. And they didn't deliver the statement, and so we got out of the contract. And the deal was that with CBS, that if we got out of the contract, they would take up the band and pay off the £60,000 debt. So we re-signed to CBS for £60,000, which we didn't see anything of.
Yeah.
It just cleared up the debt, which is quite amazing for a band that was going out on the road like non-stop. Earning £1,000 a night. And plus the revenue that we were getting from recording. It was quite amazing that we ended up with absolutely nothing. When the band spread, when it got to the very end, when we were talking about the whole punk thing came in. I mean, they were even asking him, "Could we return the guitars, please?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. Unbelievable.
John, in our podcast, we've covered quite a few of your tours, and you did 3 long tours of the UK between late 1973 and about August, September 74. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And these are tours where you're looking at 30 plus dates.
Yeah.
And you were touring internationally as well with Gary.
Yeah. At that point, it was non-stop. I mean, we were doing our tours and we were doing Gary tours, So it was non-stop. It was non-stop. Yeah. Doing doing things like you've got Top of the Pops tomorrow. So, we're in Glasgow. Oh yeah, okay. So drive down to London from Glasgow.
Actually,
overnight.
Warren noticed that, didn't you, Warren?
You're in the middle. In fact, you're in the middle of an Irish tour, I think, and you ended up with an appearance on Blue Peter. And we've sort of worked out that it looks like you've flown down from Ireland in the middle of the tour, done the appearance, and then flown back and done a gig in Ireland that night.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
Thank you to John Springate very much for that interview.
Yeah, and John actually generously agreed to speak with us at quite short notice, actually, as well, which was really good of him.
You've only heard part of our chat. John went on to speak about all sorts of Glitterband-related topics, including the story of how one of my favourite songs was written, an instrumental break which turned into a chorus, Andy. How was that for a story?
Yeah, that was great, yeah.
And we're breaking our rule of monthly podcasts and putting up the second part of the interview in mid-May, and we have some more good news. We would like to release Ooh Lai Ooh Lai and Hey Girl, I Want to Hold Your Hand on CD, but before we do so, we're asking for expressions of interest to gauge how many to produce.
Yeah, so as a bit of background information, we were pretty adamant that the CDs that are released will be pressed from a glass master, not CDR. So obviously putting that into English, it means that they're professionally manufactured. And of course they'll play reliably and also they'll play long term, unlike some of the CDR releases that you might get. More like you'd get a CD from a record shop, if you know what I mean. We've also put a bit of thought into the packaging and what people might like, and we've decided we're going to make this available in a 4-panel book sleeve, obviously picture disc as well on the CD, and I think that'll make it maybe a bit more collectible for people. At least that's our aim.
So Andy, does the 4 panels mean what? There's a picture on the front, one on the back, and a couple when you open it up. Is that right? A couple more?
That's it, yeah, a couple in the centre. Yeah. So on the right-hand side, the CD will come out of a pocket on the right-hand side once you open it up.
Gotcha. We're looking at a price, including postage and packaging, of approximately £8.50 for the UK, $11.75 for Europe, and £14.95 for New Zealand and Australia. For other parts of the world, we'll quote on request. Now, apart from production costs, all of the money will be returned to the artist and the writers. John Springate has very generously requested that his share be donated to charity. We'd like to put it in order with the manufacturer as soon as practicable. This podcast went up on YouTube on Saturday the 3rd of May. If you're interested, no payment at this stage. Could you please send an email to this address? shoutitout@mail.com. So that's shoutitout@mail.com. And could you please put "Hey Girl" in the subject box? And could you please send the mail by Monday the 12th of May? All of this information is repeated in this episode's show notes. I think that covers it all. Thank you again to our guest, John Springate. Should we finish as we started, Andy, and have a listen to part of Ooh Lai Ooh Lai and Hey Girl, I Want to Hold Your Hand?
Yes, we should. Hopefully we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more of John Springate.
Ooh,